The worst among us often act like they're on top. But life doesn't settle scores loudly. It collects dead quietly. A Stoic man doesn't chase revenge. He watches. As you find peace and heal, karma starts its work, and it never misses. You might think they've escaped their lies, betrayals, manipulations. They walk away like nothing happened, but something did. And now life speaks to them in karma's silent language. Whispers only, they feel daily. In this video, you'll learn 5 subtle signs someone's paying the price for how they treated you. Not in public, not in court, but in their own lives, their own minds. In the quiet moments no one sees. This isn't about vengeance, it's about truth. And truth speaks louder than any shout. It speaks in silence. Nothing weighs heavier than pretending you're fine when you're not. Karma doesn't care about appearances. A man of strength knows karma works through the heart when no one's watching. The first sign karma's at play is when they act like life's never been better. The one who ghosted you, broke your trust, hurt you, and left you looking like the fool they're suddenly glowing. They post new photos daily, smiling in places you never went, laughing with people who weren't there when you were. If you're not careful, you might believe it. You might scroll through their highlights and think, maybe they're truly happy without me. But here's the wisdom. Real happiness doesn't need a stage. Fake happiness does. You've seen it. They go quiet for days after the fallout. Then, suddenly, an explosion of posts, photos, stories, inspirational quotes, polished selfies. A campaign to look radiant. One moment they destroyed something real. Now they're hashtagging healing with someone new, as if guilt never touched them. But look closer. The smile's too wide. The eyes are distant. The energy screams desperation because true happiness isn't loud. Insecurity always is. Epictetus taught us, it's not what happens to you, but how you respond. Marcus Aurelius said the best revenge is to not become like those who hurt you. That's why a Stoic doesn't argue, doesn't retaliate, and never chases closure. He observes, true peace isn't a performance, it's simply being. The harder they try to prove they've moved on, the more likely they haven't. Karma doesn't announce itself. It arrives quietly each night as they lie awake. Realizing the man they've become is why they lost someone who never wished them harm. No amount of posts, no fake joy. No new partner can drown out the voice of a conscience that knows it ruined something real. Let them smile for the camera, because you know the truth. The hardest lie to maintain is pretending you're at peace. Karma doesn't always strike like lightning. Sometimes it's a slow erosion, a quiet loss of what they thought would always stay. The second sign karma's working is when life starts reclaiming what they took for granted. You might expect karma to be loud car crashes, breakups, betrayals. But karma's sharper than that. It doesn't shout. It doesn't rage. It quietly subtracts. They lose small things. At first, a friend stops responding. A colleague withdraws trust. An opportunity slips away without explanation. They shrug it off as life's randomness, bad luck, or coincidence, until the pattern repeats relentlessly. Eventually, they stand amid the ruins of what they mocked, ignored, or undervalued. They may have called you overly sensitive, too caring, or dramatic, when in truth, you were the only one acting with heart. You stayed up late, offering comfort in their darkest moments. You forgave when they overlooked your worth. You believed in them when they doubted themselves. And how did they repay you? With a sneer. They mocked your loyalty, called you clingy, too soft for this world. They saw your presence as a given, not a gift. A wise man knows when to stop fighting for someone who never shows up for him. So you walked away. At first, they felt free, untouched, unbothered. But then the silence started to echo. Messages slowed. Their circle shrank. The people they trusted turned out to be just like them, selfish, cold, calculating. Suddenly, the choices they thought they had vanished. The support they took for granted is gone. The comfort of someone who truly cared irreplaceable. No one can fill the void you left. Especially not someone who only knows the version of them pretending to be whole. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't waste time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Karma clears away what doesn't align with truth. When someone wrongs a good man, they don't just betray you, they betray the version of themselves that once knew peace, patience, forgiveness, and depth. Karma doesn't punish with loud pain. It shows them exactly what they lost, then makes them live without it. Every room feels colder. Every new relationship feels shallow. Every victory feels hollow, because deep down, they know they had something real and let it slip through their hands. Let them lose. Let them learn. Let them look around and see that nothing around them now feels as safe or sacred as what they had with you. Karma doesn't just take things away. It takes the version of them that held your love. No matter how they try to rebuild, they'll never recapture that peace. The third sign karma's at work is when you still linger in their thoughts. They won't say your name outright or publicly, but listen closely. Their vague social media posts, cryptic captions about betrayal, loyalty, fake people, or healing from the past are about you. They drop hints in their stories, like, "Some people never know what they lost," or "Not everyone deserves my energy anymore." At first glance, it seems generic, but you know better. You know their habits, their pain, their language. You've seen it in their posts. Like a bullet wrapped in poetry. They don't tag you or name you, but every word carries your shadow. It feels like they're fishing for your attention without admitting it. That's not strength. That's not healing. It's a conscience crying out through the cracks of a fractured ego. Their friends might not notice. The world might scroll past, but you see it, because you once cared enough to read their silence. Now that silence screams back at them, karma doesn't always punish with events. Sometimes it punishes with obsession thoughts they can't control, regrets they can't swallow, memories they didn't expect to linger but can't escape. A Stoic man doesn't seek revenge or clap back with vague posts of his own. He doesn't engage. Silence is his power. Epictetus said, "If someone speaks ill of you, live so that no one believes them. So let them talk in circles behind your back. Don't respond. Don't explain. Don't clarify. The more they speak in riddles, the more the truth reveals itself. You've moved on, but they haven't. Let them post their quotes, half-truths, and twisted stories. Let them try to heal with noise to mask how broken they still are. You don't need to be in their life to live in their mind. That's karma's work. The mind is the loudest prison, especially when the one you hurt doesn't look back. Stay silent. Silence speaks louder than any comeback. When you betray a good man, you don't just lose him, You lose the ability to trust anyone who reminds you of him, even yourself. The fourth sign karma's at play is when they stop trusting others and slowly lose faith in themselves. At first, it looks like self-protection. They tighten their circle, stop opening up, get picky about who they let in, saying things like, "I don't trust anyone anymore. Everyone's fake." But beneath that tough exterior isn't strength or boundaries, it's fear. Fear born in the shadow of their own guilt. You've seen it. They used to be open, laugh freely, trust easily, talk without hesitation. But after what they did to you or others, something shifted, not outwardly, but deep inside, quietly, steadily. A disciplined man understands that their new suspicion isn't wisdom, it's the cost of their actions. They now doubt everyone's motives, expect betrayal before trust, and scrutinize every word, act, or silence for signs someone might hurt them like they hurt you. Why? Because they know what they're capable of. When you know you've wronged someone who didn't deserve it, you start believing everyone else could be just as destructive. This is karma's deepest cut self-doubt. It isolates not by force, but by eroding the soul. The voice that once said, "I've got this," now whispers, "Maybe I'm the problem." That thought terrifies, because once you doubt yourself, peace becomes impossible, no matter how quiet the room. Seneca said, "The man who wrongs another rarely trusts anyone else, for he knows what he himself can do." A Stoic knows peace is tied to conscience. Betray your values, and you lose not just others, but yourself. That's karma's quiet work, not always in clear consequences, but in cracks within their soul. A restless unease they can't explain, a tightness in their chest when all seems well, a voice inside whispering they don't deserve it, even when something good comes their way. Let them wrestle with that silence. Let them question everyone's motives. Let them fear the shadows they cast on others. Karma doesn't just haunt with memories, it steals peace through paranoia. The worst prison isn't behind bars. It's where conscience becomes the jailer. If they can't trust anymore, don't feel guilty. Don't try to fix them. Don't return to prove not everyone is the same. That's not your burden. Your role was never to save someone who chose destruction. You offered truth. They answered with betrayal. Now karma delivers what they earned. The fifth sign, karma's at work, is when life sends them a mirror, a person who reflects everything they did to you, not just a bad match, but a living echo of their own actions. It starts sweetly, charmingly, like they were when they won your trust. They think it's fate, a perfect connection. They believe they've found their ideal match. The chemistry feels electric, the bond instant and intense. But they don't see it yet. They're not falling for someone new. They're caught in karma's cycle, facing the person they were when they hurt you. This time, they're not in control. Remember how they made you feel never good enough, despite all you gave. Now they chase replies that never come, wait for calls that go ignored, post online, hoping to be seen, only to meet silence. They played games with your heart. Now they're with someone who burns them with coldness, showers them with affection, then pulls back, calling them too sensitive. They mocked your vulnerability. Now their openness is laughed at. They had your loyalty and walked away. Now they beg for commitment from someone half in, half out. At first, they make excuses. This person's just complicated. misunderstood. But deep down, a chilling realization creeps in. This is what I did to someone else. They won't say it aloud. They may never admit it. But that thought haunts them in the quiet moments. It lingers in the pause before sleep, in the silence, after another failed attempt to connect. Their pain isn't random or bad luck. It's a pattern. It's justice in its rawest form. Marcus Aurelius said the best revenge is to not become like those who hurt you. The universe doesn't seek vengeance. It seeks balance. It restores by letting them feel the pain they caused, through someone they can't control or predict. This isn't punishment. It's awakening. No lesson sinks deeper than one felt in the bones. They laughed at how much you cared. Now they ache for someone who doesn't. They dismissed your needs. Now they're called needy by someone who keeps them at arm's length. They walked away like they were untouchable. Now they beg for someone to stay, to respond, to try. And that person just shrugs. And in that moment, it dawns on them, not all at once, but in painful pieces. They're not just hurt, they're mirrored. The mirror never lies. Let them face their equal. Let them feel the confusion, the helplessness, the sting of being seen, used, and discarded, just as they did to you. This time, there's no one to blame, no one to manipulate, no story to twist, because the person on the other side isn't a monster, just them in another form, with the same patterns. This isn't vengeance, it's a reckoning. Karma doesn't draw or destroy, it reflects. A strong man knows when they ask, "Why is this happening to me?" The answer is simple. You're not being punished, you're being shown. You don't need to fight those already battling themselves. Karma doesn't need your help. It doesn't need your resistance or your proof. It asks only one thing: your silence, your calm, your refusal to stoop to their level, while they're trapped in lies, pride, and manipulation. You've stepped into something greater clarity. Karma isn't just what happens to them, it's what happens to you when you let go. You no longer need closure, because peace becomes your closure. You don't need justice, because time bears witness. You don't need them to feel your pain, because life teaches its lessons. Your task isn't to punish, but to rise steady, grounded, and so strong that no one can shake your peace again. Not even the shadow of those who wronged you can touch you. That's the Stoic way. We don't curse our enemies or chase validation. We move forward quietly, powerfully, with discipline that karma respects. If someone hurt you, never apologized, acted blameless, or left like you didn't matter, let them go. They may seem free, but they're haunted by one thing: they can't silence the truth. A man who lies to others sleeps soundly, but one who lies to himself never rests. If this resonates, don't waste energy chasing the past. Share below which line hit you hardest. Let others know they're not alone. If you're walking the path of silence and inner strength, join. Think Stoic 101. We don't just talk about healing, we train the mind to lead, not react. We build clarity, discipline, and unshakable peace. Let karma do its work. You keep becoming the man they can never reach again. That's not revenge, it's evolution. The world watches quietly, because growth like that echoes without words.